Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is part 4 of our deep dive into the book of Joel. And today we're tackling one of the biggest puzzles in all of biblical prophecy, the day of the Lord. So what is it? Is it a total surprise or something that comes with a giant cosmic heads up? Let's figure this out together.
And this really is the core of the problem, isn't it? On one hand, you've got scriptures like 1 Thessalonians 5 telling us the day of the Lord will show up like a thief in the night, completely unexpected. But then you have other passages promising these huge, impossible-to-miss signs in the sky. I mean, think about it. Thieves don't exactly send out a press release before they show up, right? So what gives? How can both of these things possibly be true?
All right, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to have to put on our detective hats. Seriously, we're going to treat this like a case, and we're going to look at the evidence from 3 key prophetic eyewitnesses. Our goal is to piece together the timeline of these massive events. So let's bring in our first piece of evidence.
Okay, clue number 1 comes from the man himself, Joel. In chapter 2, verses 30 and 31, he writes, "I will display wonders in the sky and on the earth. The sun will be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes." Did you catch that? The most important word in that whole passage for our investigation is before. Joel is crystal clear. These crazy signs in the sky, they're a warning. They happen before the main event kicks off.
Next up, our second witness is Jesus himself, speaking in Matthew chapter 24. And listen to this. "But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky." Wow! The language is almost identical to Joel's, right? But Jesus drops a huge timing clue for us. He says these signs happen after the tribulation, that intense period of global chaos. So now we've got a sequence forming. First the tribulation ends, then we see the signs in the sky.
And for our third and final clue, we turn to the book of Revelation chapter 6. The 6th seal is opened, and what do we see? You guessed it, the exact same signs. The sun goes black, the moon turns to blood. But this time we get something extra. We get to see how people on earth react. They're terrified. They're hiding in caves and shouting, "For the great day of their wrath has come." Now pay close attention to the wording. They don't say it's coming soon, they say it has come. They understand that the moment these signs appear, that's it. The day of God's wrath has officially started.
Okay, so let's just lay all our evidence out on the table. It's actually pretty amazing when you see it all together. Joel tells us the signs happen before the day of the Lord. Matthew tells us those same signs happen after the tribulation. And Revelation confirms that when people see the signs, they know the day of wrath has begun. You see how it works? The puzzle pieces are clicking into place beautifully.
But wait a second. How does all this solve our original problem, the whole thief in the night thing? Well, this is where we get to the big breakthrough, the aha moment. This is the one key idea that unlocks this whole prophetic puzzle.
And here it is, the day of the Lord. It's not a single 24-hour day. It's not a Tuesday. It's an extended period of time, a whole era of God's direct intervention in history. And once you grasp that, poof, the whole contradiction between a surprise thief and a big pre-announced event just melts away.
And you know what? We can actually see proof of this baked right into the language of the scripture itself. Check this out. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10 says, "The day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away." That little phrase, "in which," is so powerful. It tells us that the day is like a container of time. It starts suddenly, unexpectedly, that's the thief part, but then all these other massive events happen inside or within that period.
All right, so the mystery is solved. Now we can stop being detectives and start being architects. We can actually build a clear, solid framework for how these incredible end-time events unfold. Let's put the whole timeline together.
Now, before we lay it all out, let's get really precise for a second. We're going to use a helpful term from our source material, the day of the Lord Proper. Now, this doesn't mean the whole era we just talked about. This term refers specifically to the grand finale, the climactic, visible, publicly announced return of Christ in judgment. This is the very event that Joel was talking about, the one that gets kicked off by all those signs in the heavens. Okay, here's the full sequence. Look at how perfectly this flows. Step 1, the whole period called the Day of the Lord begins suddenly, like a thief. Step 2, this kicks off the tribulation, a time of judgment and upheaval on earth. Step 3, at the end of that, we get the cosmic disturbances, the sun and moon going dark. This is the final unmissable warning sign. Step 4, this immediately ushers in the Day of the Lord Proper, when Christ returns visibly for all to see.
And finally, step 5, it all culminates in the Messianic kingdom, where the Lord reigns from Zion and everything is made right. See? Every single scriptural piece has its place. It all fits.
So what the prophet Joel has given us here is, well, it's nothing short of a divine blueprint for the end times. It's the framework, the skeleton key, the chronological backbone that lets us make sense of God's huge plan for judgment and ultimately for restoration. But here's the thing about blueprints. They're just the beginning.
And this is the big takeaway I want you to leave with today. Joel gave us the blueprint. He laid out the foundational structure. In our 5th and final part of this series, we're going to see how the book of Revelation takes that blueprint and builds the whole thing out in stunning high-definition detail. We're going to go from the sketch to the finished masterpiece. You are not going to want to miss it as we bring this whole prophecy into full focus.